Hello everyone and welcome to the Ecstatic Show. So yeah, as you've probably noticed, I've been away from making videos and such for a very long time. And that comes from that I've been having a lot of technical troubles with making videos. OBS decided to start just going haywire, and that in turn made it so it became very difficult to actually use OBS. So I've been spending time trying to find different programs or softwares and whatever that should be able to work. However, eventually I had to give up, and I recently reinstalled my computer. So I figured that I should be using that as so I figured I would be giving OBS a new chance to, well, see if it works. And thusly, here we are. I've been going a little bit back and forth with it, and from what I can tell, I think I've gotten it to work now. It's still a bit wonky, at least when it comes to the audio part, because I don't know if I'm able to find that sweet spot where I will have good quality audio even when I'm recording or, well, in general. So yeah. But yeah, it's 2020. I hope you have all taking care of yourself and that you'll be taking it easy. And hopefully we will be able to get back to making videos again and do it more in a scheduled manner. Unlike the other times, I'm not gonna make any promises. But my goal for this year, which you will be able to see here somewhere, is first off all to be able try to make at least one video a week. Recordings on Fridays and uploads. Recordings on Fridays, editing on Thursdays, and uploads on Sundays. So this video, unless I get a lot of energy during the weekend, will be out the next week after I have done this. But by doing so, I will also be having a video every week that I will be making and uploading. And this is the reason I'm thinking about using this kind of schedule is because I've been having a lot of energy trouble with depression and just mental exhaustion and everything. And getting this to work has taken a lot of me. So yeah, eventually I decided that I'm gonna take it easy. I'm not gonna push myself so hard. And thus, I'm just gonna make sure that, yeah, I'm gonna try to get one video a week out. That's the goal, but it's not a promise. But as long as the first videos works out fine, I may have to work out the kinks between all the videos. So, for example, Subnautica might be just being doing fine in whatever I tend to do that in. If we ever get back to finishing up Lucius, I'm gonna have to figure out what manner of workaround with the software I'm gonna have to do with that. But for a starter now, at least we are going to restart Vampyr. I've been working my ass off getting this to work during this week that has been going on since after I reinstalled my computer for like 1 week or 2 weeks ago. And I think I have managed to get it down. If it, well, you obviously know that it's gonna be working, because if it's up on YouTube, then yeah, it's working. But last time I did this, I had the troubles that I got a black screen. I could get like the first few scenes when it just showed like don't node and whatever, all those things. But as soon as it's gonna start up the game itself, that's when I'm getting a problem, and it was giving me a headache to find out what it was. So yeah. But the good news is that I think the only problem was that I was running the game in full screen. So I'm gonna have to do a bit before every video. I'm gonna have to like go back and forth on the video settings, so I get the pseudo full screen mode. Don't really know what to call it beyond that, because it's not a proper borderless window, because that is not even an option in the Vampyr. But yeah, I did about roughly an hour's recording. On Vampyr when I did that, so. And Vampyr is that kind of game. There's a lot of talking. There are a lot of things that need to be adhered, like noticed. So I think an hour per video for Vampyr is gonna be fine, and if I get the smooth to make more videos, I'm gonna make sure I'm not doing Vampyr, or I'm gonna rather do something smaller, like, I don't know, Bastion or Mr. Shifty or something like that. Games that doesn't require me to make a lot of effort on it. So yeah, but we have a lot of games lined up if this works out that are gonna be like the main series, the one that are like an hour long, and then I'm gonna have the smaller series if I had the energy for it. They're gonna be like 20 minutes up to 35 minutes, something like that. So yeah, and they can vary greatly. Anything from like just a few match rounds of ARAM, or Crucible in Destiny, or something like that. But yeah. So, well, we're getting this fixed up. We're gonna have it set on 1 hour. And hopefully, when we get back to this, everything will work out, and this will be on YouTube, and you will have a good time watching this. So, with all that said and done, welcome back, and I hope you will have an ecstatic evening with vampires in London during a plague. Very thematic. Absolutely no idea if this is gonna be working. I have deleted the old save file from the last time when the video didn't work. It winded up with a black screen. Oh yeah, that actually reminds me. So, well, the audio is gonna be the same way for you. I'm not gonna be changing any audio settings. I will be lowering the volume in my headset. So, yeah. We're gonna go and grab Mr. Clay here.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much.
You think?
Insulting it.
Oh,
Yes. Follow me.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Of course,
No
we're
more.
not gonna take
Not tonight.
life during
Not
the
like
first
this.
time.
I will not take another life.
Yes, not tonight. He may be an a-hole, but he's not worth killing just like that.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go. But no famished hunter can run for long.
Good evening, nurse.
Doctor,
Did he
all
ice?
you
We're gonna skip through basically all dialogues.
You
So,
not familiar?
yeah. What we're gonna be
Nurse
doing here
Brown.
is very simple. We're going to talk with all of them. Gonna be and basically fast forward for you guys about what's happening. So yeah, for you it's just gonna go like a second or two, but for me, so I had to do a little less editing. I'm gonna pause the recording right here, and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back again. This is gonna be outside of the recording time, but there's actually something I want to show you guys. So there are two things here you can do in the very beginning of the first time you get here to gain some
I should invest.
very important pieces of information. First of all, I'm gonna have to defeat this Skald. There we go, and poof, we're gonna have to go up here. Oh no, did we miss it? Need to go back inside then. Because there are Dr. Tippets and Mortimer are the two things you can get. So for Mortimer, you have to be over here, and you have to wait until his mother and him stand right here. I'm gonna be marking this in the editing. When they do that, you will be able to use the vampire senses.
I have wasted too much energy for so little result.
You'll be able to use your vampire senses to get additional information.
How you top? Who's not? People help. This is goodbye, Mister.
But yeah, you will know that when you will be able to do that is when the Tippets starts walking up these stairs. When he does that is when you need to run this way immediately. Take a sharp right here, then another sharp right again. Pop up here, and when he's in the right place, all you have to do is use a vampire senses, just like with Mortimer, to see him use drugs. And that is a very important information to be having when you have slept your first night and you are going to the morgue. And with that, you will be right back again in a few seconds. Here we go, managed to trigger it. Apparently you had to actually lock onto him. So while we are waiting on that, this is the spot where we need to be to investigate this. Double check so that everything seems to be going right. Yeah, so yeah, this is gonna be the spot where you need to investigate to find out about Dr. Tippet's problem.
Damn it! Why is this so difficult every time?
That is better. That is better. I will make it through one more night.
I wish I could be sick again.
Good evening, Dr. Tate.
Dr. Reed, any...
So yeah, we're just gonna confront him and then we'll be back when we're done with this day. See you soon. Here we go. Alright, so... No. So, the thing about why I wanted to get back into playing Vampyr
I'm
is
to stay
because
here until my research is complete. I'd better learn to hide my true nature.
I'm having a lot of like,
But what about my thirst for blood?
how would you call it? Wishing? Longing? To play Vampire the Masquerade. And until I can get so I can play that, I figured why not play this? Also, sorry for the burping. Because my stomach been a little upset these past few days.
I not want to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend.
Yes, yes, miss.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis? Is this you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted.
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution.
However do you mean?
If combined correct,
The store-
perhaps I should look.
It's the large...
The abandoned mall.
Alright, and it's morgue time.
It's locked, all right.
So yeah, we're going
It's
to
locked.
try to get as much done as possible. Because of how much time we've been losing out since the first time I was playing this. And also, yes, I will be keeping this outfit. Although I don't like the hat or the coat really. But it will be a good way to mark out that this series is a restart. So, yeah.
Time has lost its effect on me. The suffering continues.
Alright, we have talked to everyone and gotten basically every kind of information in any way, shape or form I could
Yes, Doctor.
get.
Please.
At... Look,
Alright,
We-
apparently I missed
it's...
a little bit here.
That's all for now. No.
Oh yeah. I think I would be... yeah.
It's locked, all right.
We can take a little detour here. I did not plan on breaking that, but okay. Apparently no one of these has respawned. Might be because I'm playing on a different difficulty than the original series. Maybe. I actually need to look back on this to see if that's the case. So yeah, I'm gonna speedrun this part. So what I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna fast forward for you guys until we have reached roughly the end, because I'm not gonna be doing much commentary beyond this point, just so you know. I will talk to you guys again once we reach the basement floor.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Alright, we're back here. So
These
this section will
scales
be...
feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not our blood.
So, yeah. Because I'm quite sure we already did this part in a video other times, and also because I've been doing this a few times already, is the reason why we're fast forwarding from this spot. Because, you know. There we go. Because we need to get some things in order. There we go. There's absolutely no need for me to drink blood anymore because of the sword. But it's actually nice to have it. To be able to do a little bite now and then. Alright.
It's locked.
Now we're reaching the important section.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
And that's one of the reasons why you do need
Tippett has made
the drug information that I showed you earlier. Because without it, you will not be able to confront him properly. But that's as far as I know about this. So let's have some fun here. This battle right here is gonna be quite easy. So, well, speedrun. There we go.
These scowls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Yeah, well. But yeah, there's actually a point I wanted to talk about. I've tried talking about it in one of the videos, but it got a bit tiring because of how the video keep failing. But like, the reasons that vampires are seen as cursed is because they feel so much more. Although there are a lot of things where they go like, yeah, vampires are unfeeling, but that in itself is not quite true. It's more correctly to say that they feel more. Because everything is so much more intense for them. Wait, was that a shield? Oh. Lol. But yeah, so yeah, they feel a lot of things. They don't feel the same way the humans do. But the things are so much more intense because of it. And therefore, things would be quite troublesome because hunger. Like if you ever truly being hungry, you know that it starts to gnaw at your mind. It feels like something's trying to rip your insides out, and that is a terrible feeling. You almost want to take your own nails and dig your own guts out to get rid of it. And it causes a lot of mental instability too. Let's see, Dorothy. Where are you? Ah, you're over there. So yeah, that is something that is a lot of problematic for vampires.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor.
Yes,
You've
duty-
meant.
Good evening. And good
As for me,
Good evening, Miss. Good evening. Goodbye for...
my sweet girl reads me like a book.
I think I might have had a chance at getting more information.
It's safer here than anywhere else in
Oh well. I do have some medicine I'm gonna distribute.
You always knew the words to calm the children.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
Do you need any...
I'm afraid.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
I have to go now, sir. But
Doctor. Yeah.
good evening. Deal. What? You're on. What? How?
This. That.
I-
No.
But-
Boy.
How long do you?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc.
We can't.
I ain't.
And
I'm the lead.
how long?
Oh, no.
We can't.
I ain't.
And
I'm the.
I'll leave you. Am I right to assume your wife's letter pissed you off, Clay?
I was so mad, I threw away the knife she got me when we got married.
Your wife gave you a knife as a wedding present.
That knife has always been my lucky charm. If I'd had it in my hand when I got stabbed on that pier, I'd not have been wounded.
Do you want it back?
I don't need it here, but if you'd be kind enough to bring it to me, I'd be really grateful.
A grateful Clay Cox? I might just find your knife and bring it back to you to see that happen.
I can give you directions, but I'd be surprised if you managed to find it. My hideout isn't meant to be found easily.
A lucky charm?
We all have our flaws, Doc. Mine's to have my weapon of choice for when the really dirty business comes around.
What can you tell me about...
Marriage is the sweetest cage, they say. Well, I found myself locked in one with a wild animal.
You mean your wife keeps you on your toes?
No, I mean, we both have claws and we both love to bite.
Oh, that's a neat,
I'll leave
good
you
one.
for-
Alright, Tippet, time to have a little talk.
Good evening. Kokorin, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error.
Who was this?
I don't know.
Why not?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Goodbye, Doc.
Hey, Gwyneth.
Good evening.
Good.
Tell me,
If I had not...
you can't allow...
Look around you, Doctor.
To clear Dr. Tippett's name.
I respect...
Goodbye now.
Alright, I finally have time to talk to Swansea.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
And now we are officially in new territory.
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
This is not a gift. I mean, the thing is, like, vampires are tormented people. The more they live, the less humanity they're gonna have. It's kind of like the Indian doctor said, or the one who was a former doctor said, and that is that the more you live, the more your humanity has a chance of shredding. And that is a very big problem, which Vampire the Masquerade is actually addressing in their role-playing books, is that you need to act human, you need to take care of people, you need to care, you need to address, and all of this is so exhausting. Like, if you have a friend who have a lot of mental problems, or if you are a person that has a lot of mental problems, you know already that after a while it gets tough to care, tough to take care of them or of yourself. And that is kind of the perpetual thing that vampires are living in. Sure, the first 100 years, maybe, like a human lifespan, they may be able to hold on to their humanity quite efficiently, because they're still living that human life. But after like 20, 30, 50 years, it's gonna start getting to them, and that's when they're gonna face day after day after day the very core problem about being a vampire that a lot of sources agree upon, and that is, how do you stay human when everything about you is not? Because the more you let yourself be a vampire, the more likely you are to turn into a berserking fiend, a uncaring butcher. And that's and all about that is a very interesting thing that they're taking up in this. In Vampire the Masquerade, in Vampyr. It's tough, but it's interesting. That being said, you should never stop trying. Even when it's tough, even if it's not completely honest, just the act of trying, just to give that word of affirmation to say that it's going to be fine, even if you do not even believe so. If it is to help someone else, like to ease their suffering, even if it's just a false hope that it's gonna be fine, will help a lot. And if you're one in suffering and you are asked about how you are and how you're doing, it's okay. It's okay to say that you're not doing fine. Because fighting alone is tough. It's very tough. But the bravest thing you can do is let people in. To let people be there for you. Even though you feel like there's no worth in trying, or that no one you know cares. Just let them know that you're not okay. It's still a big step. And you should be proud for yourself for taking that, to admit when you're not strong, to admit when you may need some space, or when you may need some help.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
I mean, as absurd as it is, it is an amusing situation. He's a doctor, he's a man of science, and everything that he is now goes about against everything that science stands for. Well, not everything though. Because science is about questioning reality, about finding out the knowledge about how things works. And if everything that we have taken for granted is shown to be false, well, that is also science. It's a part of science that is widely not as accepted, but everything that is about finding out the truth has always been a part of what science is. Trial and error. To find the truth of the solution. Whether that solution be knowledge about how things work, what it is and what it does, or the creation of a medicine, of poison, of technology advancement.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Also,
do you need
we need
something,
to
Jonathan?
talk, Edgar.
I have just a few...
Then ask away.
You mentioned something about a...
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Oh my god.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
That does not really tell if I need to kill, though.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skald?
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
How do Skalds come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Do you need something?
I have.
Then ask.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Sorry, I was leaning back because my back was starting to hurt a little bit.
I cannot enter.
Right. Strickland. Let's see. Let's start with Rakesh.
It's locked, all right.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Have you heard of someone... Pardon me, sir, but I have... Tell me the truth about your... The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reed. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reed. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
Goodbye, Mr.
Tomorrow, more bodies will arrive.
It's locked, all right.
I'm managing a train terminal.
How long must I wait, damn it?
Blaming me will not further your objectives, sir. How long is it going?
I'm quite busy.
Have you heard about...
Blackmail?
Alright, looks like we're gonna have to talk with him personally.
Good evening.
And good evening.
Have you?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the patients. They know more than the staff, especially old Miss Jones.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Do you need...
You don't have to worry about...
Goodbye. Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard...
No.
Good.
Reads me like a book.
Oh yeah, let's see how he's doing today. Oh, he's recovering.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
Thank you, Dr. Reed, but you've done enough already. The rest is up to me now.
Have you...
No?
Admit it, Mortimer.
Yes.
All right, then.
Call it what you want.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful, I'd rather not.
I'll let you get some rest, then.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
Dr. Reed.
What can you...
Every day
news...
it's... There's...
Can you...
Well...
And-
if... No.
What,
No.
what about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
It's safer here than anywhere else in the East End.
All right.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening.
I've decided that I won't reveal Dr. Tippett's, shall we say, misdemeanor.
I'm so glad you share my point of view.
I hope you're right. This is...
Dr. Tippett must regain his confidence. Please.
Wait, what?
Doctor,
Have you heard...
I have no...
Goodbye, Doctor.
What do you mean, fail? Yeah, that's a good bunch of XP.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Delicate?
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
I really call that face
It's a
delicate.
pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
I actually do want to make this joke.
So it seems our Dr. Swansea does indeed have a fascination for creatures of our constitution.
Dr. Swansea is a remarkable man. Dedicated, one might say, obstinate? He spent years compiling our bestiary.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
I mean, it is fully possible. Let's give her a benefit of the doubt.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Alright. Well, you are the greatest source of information I have, and I mean, in the situation we are right now, I couldn't really blame you if you're eating patients.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions, and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
And that actually also brings up a very important thing I talked about earlier, about how they need to stay human. And they do so by having traditions. They are like basically the laws of vampires.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
And as for where Harry Jones is, well, why don't we go and talk to her? We just have a few minutes left anyway of this recording, so there's no need to rush. And after we talk to the old woman... Hello, old ma'am.
What? What? What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Dr. Swansea is quite busy, and I need you to help me get acclimated. I have many questions.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be
I like
inclined to
this
say
one.
you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Well, we do know already who's a couple here, so... So, where is the couple?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about this strange man?
Let me guess. You spoke with that...
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
What can you tell? Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital.
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first. Even though
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead. Or will be soon. Don't you see?
You put a price on hope. This goes against everything you swore to uphold as a nurse.
Report me then, Dr. Reed. Report the little nurse and keep on lying about the surgical errors, the wrong dosages and diagnostics that we all covered for the sake of our colleagues.
Pepper, are you...
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
And what about Milton Hooks?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
Goodbye.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals, or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
And looks like we're about out of time. So hopefully it's gonna save. There we go. Let's see. Right in the hospital. So yeah, that was Vampyr, or Restart edition. I hope you all had a good time, and I hope I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more content now when I have everything up and running again, press the subscription button and press the bell button, and you will get a notification as soon as I put up a new video. Until the next time, have an ecstatic evening. Bye bye.